So Trump in this interview urged Israel to finish up their war.
Hurry up.
Hurry up. We got an election coming up. Actually, he probably would prefer it goes on through the election, honestly, because it does seem to be hurting Biden quite a bit. I'll tell you, it reminded me that Trump, although he kept the current wars going, he did try to get troops out of Syria, and they literally told him no, or they lied to him, So that's weird. He set a plan for withdrawing from Afghanistan. He didn't invade any new countries. That's what we always gave him as kind of an attaboy, because from what I remember, each new president is supposed to have a new country that they started a new war in.
Looks like Joe Biden's well on his way.
Yeah, Biden's just fine with that. But Trump didn't. And so it's not that Trump was...
But he wasn't perfect. He continued the drone strikes and those things that are not good. Not good.
Technically, I believe, dropped more bombs, And so it's not that he was perfect. It's just that he seems to dislike war more than the other presidents that I remember through growing up.
That have a shot at winning.
Yeah, that kind of thing. And so let me play a couple of the clips from this interview. It just sort of reminded me that this was the case.
They would have never done that because they knew there would have been very big consequences. All right, that being said, you have to finish up your war. You have to finish it up. You got to get it done. And I'm sure you'll do that. And we got to get to peace. You can't have this going on. And I will say Israel has to be very careful because you're losing a lot of the world. You're losing a lot of support. But you have to finish up. You have to get the job done. And you have to get on to peace. You have to get on to a normal life for Israel and for everybody else.
I think he's right about that. Now, he, as the Republican presidential candidate, he couldn't come out and say that they shouldn't have gone to war or anything like that. I don't think he would believe that they shouldn't have gone to war in the first place. But he does seem to be a guy that, even if it's for monetary purposes or for PR purposes and what makes you look good or look bad, he doesn't seem to like war. He's like, yeah, I get it, but this has gone on long enough. Mm-hmm. We got to stop this. It's time to get back to peace. For whatever reason, I don't know what narcissistic reason he has for not liking war, but there seems to be one.
October 7, we saw a major rise of anti-Semitic attacks in America. What are you going to do about it?
Well, that's because you fought back. And when you fought back, and I think Israel made a very big mistake, and I see it, and I saw it every night, and I wanted to call them and say, don't do it. It would say the Israeli Defense Ministry or a tag would be on these photos and shots, moving shots of bombs being dropped into buildings in Gaza. And I said, ooh, that's a terrible portrait. It's it's a very bad picture for the world. The world is seeing this.
Yeah, but Hamas terrorists are in those buildings, so how can we fight them?
You go and do what you have to do, but you don't do that. And I think that's one of the reasons that there's been a lot of kickback. If people didn't see that, they didn't have to see that. Every single night I'd watch, and every single one of those. And I think Israel wanted to show that it's, tough. But sometimes you shouldn't be doing that.
What he's talking about are the kind of propaganda videos that Israel was putting out because they were filming all the bombing. And he basically said that backfired really big because people didn't like seeing videos of people getting blown up, especially when there's a lot of civilians involved. It just sort of reminded me that he tends to be a little bit more anti-war, which also made me want to go back and find what I thought was a super important video from the presidential debates from back in 2016. I'm not trying to push for Trump's election, but he does have a chance of winning, and he does seem to be at least a little bit smarter on this stuff than Biden.
Well, and you know what he said there? It's like, he said it makes you look bad. Trump is very much about appearance.
But even
that's the narcissistic reason, by the way.
And so that's the thing. It's almost like a free market capitalist argument. We make these arguments where it's not that you're helping people because you cared about helping people. You're helping them because you wanted to make a profit selling this product. And that's great. That ended up helping a lot of people, but it was for your own selfish reasons that was actually a good thing. And I think that is the case with Trump also, that for whatever his narcissistic, selfish reasons are for not wanting to do these things, they end up with the proper outcome. And it might not be because he just loves peace and he loves humanity and he hates war and all that. It might be because it looks bad on the news. But who cares if it's the right outcome?
Well, he probably thinks war is bad for deals.
Yeah,
he's all about
deals.
He's all about wheeling and dealing.
There's not much more negotiation after that. You've already gone, too far. I mean, I guess you still got the nukes back here, but everyone knows that that's probably not the thing that you're going to use. So you're done negotiating at that point.
Probably can't hit an embassy.
It
with
actually means that you failed at the negotiation.
Yeah, that's what Chris Voss would say.
There you go. Let's watch this clip from the debate talking to Jeb Bush, and then he says something to Marco Rubio also. Just think about how crazy this was at this time. It was crazy to hear these kinds of things.
The war in Iraq was a big, fat mistake, all right? Now, you can take it any way you want, and it took Jeb Bush, if you remember at the beginning of his announcement, when he announced for president, took him 5 days. He went back. It was a mistake. It wasn't a mistake. Took him 5 days before his people told him what to say, and he ultimately said it was a mistake. The war in Iraq, we spent $2 trillion, thousands of lives. We don't even have it. Iran is taking over Iraq with the second largest oil reserves in the world. Obviously, it was a mistake. So George Bush made a mistake. We can make mistakes, but that one was a beauty. We should have never been in Iraq. We have destabilized the Middle East.
Care less about the insults that Donald Trump gives to me. But I am
$22 million
sick and tired of him going after my family. My dad is the greatest man alive in my mind. While Donald Trump was building a reality TV show, my brother was building a security apparatus to keep us safe, and I'm proud of what he did.
To spy on Americans.
And he's had the gall to go after
the World
my
Trade
mother.
Center came
He's
down
had the
during
gall
your
to go
brother's
after
reign.
my mother.
Remember that.
South Carolina.
The idea that he came back, I mean, this was not okay at this time, but Trump was the one that came out and said it. Everyone knew this line is that he kept us safe. George Bush kept us safe. Like, you heard this all the time. And Trump came out and said, World Trade Center came down while he was in office. What do you mean he kept us safe?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? No one said that kind of thing. One more little snip here.
On behalf of me and my family, I thank God all the time that it was George W. Bush in the White House on 9/11 and not Al Gore.
How did he keep us safe when the World Trade Center came down? The World, excuse me, I lost hundreds of friends. The World Trade Center came down during the reign of George Bush. He kept us safe. That's not safe. That is not safe, Marco.
All right.
That is not safe.
Is Trump still going to be the anti-war president, you think? I don't know.
I don't really know. I think the problem with Trump is it seems like he's just about willing to do anything to win. So if that means going to war.
Yeah.
But this would be his second term, so he would be a lame duck. So he wouldn't need to win again.
Of the three major candidates, RFK, Trump, and Biden, which one of them do you think is the most anti-war?
I really don't know RFK's stance on war.
I think RFK might still be the most anti-war, I guess. Well, I don't know if he's anti what we've been doing in Ukraine. Could say that, but he's very pro what we've been doing in Israel. So maybe that's the same as Trump.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's the same. Only with hopefully a smaller security apparatus if he were to be the president, Should we start talking about him like he's a serious contender?
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
What are the polls saying?
I think he gets in the low, like maybe 11, 12% when he's put up there next to
low double digit.
other
Do you
two.
think there's going to be a debate?
No. Now, what I think,
because he has enough percentage in the polls to be on the debate stage.
what would be very smart for RFK and for Trump would be for Trump to debate RFK. Because that, first off, it would be very smart for Trump because it would position RFK as against Trump, which would help him with the Republican base on a lot of things because people worry about RFK taking some people who would potentially vote for Trump, So that'd be very smart for Trump and it'd be very smart for RFK because it would give him the opportunity to go out there and position himself as being against one of the options as against Trump, not Trump. And Biden.
And they both could talk about Biden not being there.
Yeah. So it'd be very smart for the two of them to schedule a debate. So Trump's call for Israel to finish up the war is alarming people on the right. You see, the people who conducted this interview, like a week later, they did some interviews, and they basically said that they were shocked. Two Israeli journalists traveled to Palm Beach a little over a week ago, hoping to elicit from Trump a powerful expression of support for their country's war in Gaza. Instead, one of them wrote that what they heard from Mr. Trump at Mar-a-Lago shocked us deeply. It was shocking.
You know, sometimes when people do things wrong, they try to get people around them that would are still going to pat them on the back, you know, because people would rather be, they'd rather have that cognitive dissonance than they would be held accountable.
Yeah.
And so people do get shocked when you hold them accountable.
And
People do get shocked when you tell them hey, yeah, that's not a good idea, when you want someone to be like, oh yeah, it's fine. You know, you can sleep tonight. It's fine. What you're doing is fine. Everybody else they want validation.
What they're looking for is someone to tell them that literally everything that they've done was correct. They haven't done anything wrong. They want full support from someone. They're not fully getting that from Biden, even though Biden's sending more bombs and wants to send more money and stuff like that. They're, saying little things here and there, critiquing Israel and what they're doing. And Trump, all he critiqued really was their propaganda videos they were making of them blowing kids up. He just said that was, he didn't even say you shouldn't have done it, the bomb. He just said you shouldn't have filmed it and released it on the news. He said, do what you have to do, but you don't record it and put it on the news afterwards. You do that stuff in secret like a real president does. Both U.S. presidential candidates, Biden and Trump, are turning their rhetorical backs on Israel, concluded Ariel Kahana, a right-wing settler who was the senior diplomatic correspondent for the news outlet that interviewed Trump. The rhetorical backs, turning their backs. Now, Biden is still giving Israel basically everything that they want, but I guess he critiques them every now and then. He doesn't give them absolute full support. So I guess that's turning your back. Basically, you have to support every single thing they've done.
Yeah.
So Israel's starting to seem pretty narcissistic on their own also. I guess that makes me anti-Semitic for suggesting such a thing. What had Mr. Trump said that so alarmed Mr. Kahana? He told the interviewers that Israel was losing public support for its Gaza assault, that the images of devastation were bad for Israel's global image, and that Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu should end his war soon. Statements that sounded far more like something President Biden might say than the kind of cheerleading Mr. Netanyahu has come to expect from Washington Republicans. That doesn't sound far more. I like how they write this into something that Biden might say. Biden hasn't said those things. Biden's president right now. He could say things every day. And they just try to say, well, this sounded more like something Biden might say if he said it.
But
he doesn't.
And all Trump is doing, I think, is just giving them the facts. Like Israel's losing public support because of the videos they took that they shouldn't have taken. And it was bad for their global image.
And as this
Trump's probably right about that.
He is right about it. We've been talking about this for a bit now. Even if you support Israel, this is bad for it. There are so many more people who want to do harm to Israel in the world right now, that probably more than there ever has been at this moment in time. Right now, there's probably more people that want to do harm after everything that people have been, the innocent people that have been killed, those aid workers that were just killed a couple days ago. I don't remember how many of them there were. I mean, literally a car or a van or something marked, like UN, like aid. The roof is marked, and you can see the hole right in the top. I mean, they hit that thing just dead on. They said it was a misidentification. You could, like, this giant logo thing on the top of the car right there.
They had alerted them beforehand that they were going to be there.
Yeah.
Say, hey, watch out.
It was supposed to be in like it's not demilitarized zone, but a deconflicted zone or whatever, where they're not bombing. And they kill some aid workers. And I know they said it was an accident. I don't really believe that. I think that sure it was an accident, but they want people to be worried that there's going to be more accidents. Accidents happen. And if you're going to go in there and try to feed people in Gaza, you should know sometimes we have accidents, just like Biden. you know, probably.
Yeah.
He's old. What are you going to do? And so people are scared to go in there and try to feed people. They might very well be trying to starve 1 million people right now. I don't know.
Possible.
I don't know if that's their goal or not.
Well, and the other thing Trump's right about is the majority of people don't like war. But like even the majority of Americans, that's one of the reasons that most candidates run on an anti-war campaign and then they change gears when they get in there. But most people will run typically some type of anti-war campaign because most humans don't like war.
I wouldn't say full anti-war campaigns, but they would run on like peace campaigns, like we want to have peace. I think there's a difference in like Ron Paul.
Obama was going to bring the troops home.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Never did. Trump was going to bring the troops home. Kind of did.
Kind of did. I mean, he tried, and they literally told him no.
Right?
Isn't that crazy?
Right.
What a weird thing.
So
they're like, no, we already heard from the CIA that you're not going to win this election, so we're not going to pay attention to this.
Yeah. Answer's no.
But the case is that the longer this war goes on, the more dangerous this area gets for everyone. This is never gonna stop. What if they push all the people in Gaza across the border? They push them into Egypt. Well, then those people are just right there. Let's say Israel takes that whole area. Well, then people are just going to attack from that border. Like there was a border right here, 25 miles up here, and now it's right here. That doesn't mean that you can't get attacked anymore. There's still just a fence there. I don't know what there is. Always some kind of a racist wall, something like that.
Yeah.
Not sure if you can just swim right across the border there or anything like that. So you don't stop the fighting. You don't stop the terrorist attacks. And in fact, I would argue you're going to have more terrorist attacks. And so if you truly support Israel living in peace and harmony, then you would want them to finish up this war and get it done soon so we can get on to peace, which to me sounds like Trump is actually saying the most supportive thing of Israel's future in the world would be for them to end this war ASAP.